Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Everyone, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Preshaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta, Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswate Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So some of you have joined today, so I'll give a brief recap to what we have discussed so far in this chapter. Bhagavad-Gita, as you all know, is one book which is very mystical, because in this one book alone, the entire knowledge of this creation is condensed and contained. Most of you will be bewildered or will be in doubt how this is possible. But this is the opulence of the Supreme Lord. Very simply, I say, in one seed, what is the potency in one seed? It can manifest into become a huge banyan tree. And from that one seed, how many more banyan trees can come? Do you ever doubt the potency of that seed? Why? So this is the human intellect. Reasoning fails, rationale fails. And this is the unlimited opulence or the ability of the Supreme. Because we are limited, so what we do, we define everyone else within the category of our own limitation. But the Supreme is beyond our own imagination and own limitation. So anything which is connected with the Supreme is also unimaginable. So that unimaginable knowledge he condensed in this one book. So all we need to know to perfect this human form of life is very distinctly and very, deliberately contained in this one book. If we know this book alone, there is nothing else in this world to be known. Krishna declares this in the 7th chapter. He says, Jnanam teham savijnanam. Not only Krishna gives the knowledge, he also gives the process to realize this knowledge. That is Vijnana. And he says, Idam vakshyami yasheshta yad gyatva na bhuyo anyat. So if you receive this knowledge, if you are illuminated, if you are situated in this knowledge, in this transcendental knowledge, yad gyatva bhuyo anyat. Anything else remaining is nothing left. It's all covered, which is to be known. So we should take it in this way that we should definitely in this lifetime, we should discover this book, what the content is. One mission in life should be to know what all is there in Bhagavad-Gita. And it's not much. It's just 700 verses. So every day you cover 2 verses, in 1 year, you can cover Bhagavad-Gita. But as you start to study and cover Bhagavad-Gita, you will know the unlimited depth of Bhagavad-Gita. So far in the 2nd chapter, Krishna is introducing the concept of performing one's duty. Arjuna
So in our evolution of human life, if there is evolution at all, most of us do not have the elevation. We remain where we are. So if the elevation is there, the elevation goes from the platform of desire to come to the platform of duty. Like a child is there. So the child, how does he lead his life? How he live life? According to his own likes. According to his own comfort. He is carefree, isn't it? He does not care for anything else in this world. But can a child remain in that situation forever? As he grows up, what he has to become? He has to become responsible. His education and schooling has to start. So similarly, Arjuna is refusing to fight. Why? Because he is on the platform of enjoyment, sense enjoyment. His not fighting was also a reflection of his attachment, which was based on enjoyment. So Krishna gives the knowledge of the eternity. Arjuna was thinking that his existence and his relative's existence is based on body. But body is an outer covering. Like somebody says his existence is with the jacket. Who are you? Mr. Jacket. When the winters are over, would you like to wear this jacket? No, it will be a burden, isn't it? Similarly, when the body becomes old, what if one has to, the soul leaves the body and it takes a new body. So what is there to lament? But for that, one needs to be situated in knowledge. So Arjuna is being guided by knowledge. And Krishna gives the knowledge of the self, which is eternal and which is beyond the sense perception. That cannot be seen. But that because cannot be seen, that does not mean it does not exist. So, and then Krishna tells Arjuna that if you perform even duty, even if you fail to understand that you are eternal, even if you are on the temporary platform, if you perform your duty, then even because you have performed your duty, you will enjoy. But now in this section, now as the child grows up, first he is sent to a play school. Why? Because he is to be detached from the home environment. He never wants to leave home, isn't it? So he is given an opportunity where he can go and play and have fun. So he gets this conception or acceptance to move out. Otherwise, he will not move out. So giving the platform of enjoyment to fulfilling the desire, then Krishna elevates Arjuna to come to the platform of eternity, where there is eternal gain. Where he says, Shreyan Swadharmo Viguna Paradharma Bhayava. No, sorry. Neha Vikrama Nasho Asti. That, so Krishna is elevating and giving the process where performing little action, little bit of action, which is based on the eternal principle, it will give permanent result. That result which cannot be taken away. We know from this material world, we cannot take anything away. Can we take anything away when we have to leave? No. But being situated in this process of Bhuddhi-Yoga or the art of work, one can, when he departs, he receives the eternal asset. So whatever he has accumulated in this life, his next life will begin with the same, progress. If he has done 10% progress here, like you have completed 2 years of your PhD, next life you will start with 3rd year of PhD. Will any institute allow you? You say that I have completed in my previous life 2 years of PhD. Somehow, in an accident, I had to leave my body. Now I have regained the body and I have regained the memory. So I'll start from 3rd year. Will you be allowed? No. But in Krishna consciousness, there is never a loss. And Krishna spoke about the very famous verse, very most famous verse of Bhagavad-Gita, which we covered in the 2nd chapter, which is most popular but most misunderstood misapplied and misquoted. Which verse? Karmanyevadhikaraste. So everybody is fighting for his right. Karmanyevadhikaraste. Krishna says you have only one right. What is the right? You have the right to perform your prescribed duty. Prescribed duty. Not self-acclaimed or self-styled duty. Self-styled, there is no duty. It is on the level of desire. So for desire to elevate to the platform of duty, you need to have someone who assigns duty, who is authorized. So Krishna speaks about this verse and he says, he checkmates Arjuna by saying that you cannot, you cannot leave your duty, or you cannot run away from your performing your duty. Neither you have the, you tell him, I'll speak later. So Krishna says, Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have the right to perform your duty, but you do not have the right to claim the result or the fruit of it. And never consider yourself to be the cause. Very difficult, very, very difficult. If we are not the cause, and if we cannot enjoy the result, then why should we work? That is again on the platform of desire, because desire means that we want to enjoy the results. So he says, if you do not perform your duty, then it is sinful. You will receive the reaction of not performing your duty. So in this world, most people are suffering because their action is sinful. They are attached to the result of their work, so they suffer. And because if they are deprived of the fruits of the result, they do not perform the prescribed action. So that is also sinful. So in all situations, what are they performing? Sin. So how can they be happy? How can they enjoy? So far we have covered 47 verses. 47, yeah. And from today, we will continue from the 48th verse. This section is again, to simplified form. You will never forget the entire second chapter and the entire Gita. Gita means first means guru or guidance, G. Because if there is no guru, that means there is no duty. One is only at the platform of desire, isn't it? What made you select the course in IARI? Being influenced by some other friends or some other people you knew. So that is not on the platform of duty. But it can come to the platform of duty if we have still guidance. So G stands for guidance. Guidance is by a person. He can be guide, he can be guru. And I stands for identity. So unless and until guidance is there, we do not have the right cause or right identity in life. Then what is the purpose of human life? And once the guru is there and one is in the right conception, then he can begin to perform duty. Otherwise, there is no possibility. He remains on the platform of desire. He is just fulfilling his desire in various ways. And if he performs the duties are also defined too. One is on the bodily platform, that is called Swadharma, or the occupational duties. And the other is at the platform of eternal existence, which is soul, which is called Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan. Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. So if one is performing both, then one can come to the understanding and realization of the self, which is Atma. And Atma is always happy. Atma is always blissful. So everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants to be blissful. Everyone wants to enjoy. But the path and the process, neither do they know, nor do they apply. There is no possibility. So Krishna is giving the principle of yoga. How to perform action that brings happiness. So this is what we all should be knowing. What kind of action we should perform, in what way we should perform, how we should perform, so that the action brings the happiness to us. There is no tinge of suffering or misery in our life. How many of us want to be free from misery? Everyone. That goes without saying. Yeah. So Krishna speaks about the principle of yoga. For the first time, Krishna is introducing yoga in Bhagavad-Gita. This is in verse number 48 of the second chapter. So you have the books with you. Yogastu kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhyo siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoge uchyate. So Krishna is introducing another principle. First he says karmanya vadhikaraste. You have only one right to perform your prescribed duty. Do not be attached to enjoying the results. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the action that you performed, and never be attached to not performing your action. So he is checkmated. But now he is enlivening and elevating Arjuna how to perform this prescribed action. This he says, Yogastu kuru karmani, being situated in yoga, the platform of yoga. Kuru karmani, karmani means you perform your prescribed action. How the action is to be performed? Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya, without attachment to success or failure. Siddhyo siddhyo samo bhutva. So Krishna is elevating Arjuna to come to the platform of equanimity, equipoised, undisturbed by the result of the action. So how one is to perform action? Without being attached to what will be the consequence. You came in the morning. What time was the reporting time? 8:30. What time your interview was done? 6:45. Yeah. He came for ARS interview. Yours is done? Still to be done. When?
Wednesday.
So be prepared. Or what can you do? You cannot tell them. Can you go and tell them that you called me at 8:30? What is this? Are you making me wait? So what you are? You are just waiting. What can you? You have to be detached. So Krishna is saying that perform your duty equipoised. This is the first directive which Krishna is giving. How one can be what does it mean to be equipoised? That one who is detached from the result. If one is attached to the result, that means he is not equipoised. That means what? He is unbalanced. A person who is unbalanced, will he fall or will he flourish? He will fall. He'll fall. He'll suffer. And he says that what he has to be equipoised, what he has to be detached with both success or failure. So there is always fear in failure, isn't it? There is always so much of fear. Why there is fear in the heart? Of failure. As if there is success, then we'll become Sikandar. What is that? Jo jita, wahi Sikandar. That is fool's philosophy. Krishna's philosophy is that you learn to become equipoised. That means not be affected. Not be affected by what is the result in this material world. So material success or material failure does not impact the self. So please do not be disturbed or do not have the false misnomer of identifying yourself with material success or failure, because both are temporary. It has nothing to do with the permanent self. So Krishna is elevating Arjuna and saying, Siddhyo siddhyo samo bhutva and samatvam yoga uchyate. So this equanimity or remaining undetached, undisturbed or unattached to the success or failure will situate you in the platform of yoga. Let us see what Srila Prabhupada explains. That Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. So those who are Bhagavad-Gita students, those who want to really live life, which size? King size. What is king size? That is no worry. You know the Aussies people? Aussies? Australians? This is no worries, man. When I was in Afghanistan, I had one, person who was from Australia. He was always saying, "No worries, sir, no worries." Actually, we need to put this conception in our heart that we should never ever worry. One of the main themes of Bhagavad-Gita is never to lament, neither in success nor in failure, because both are temporary. So Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. And what is that yoga? Prabhupada puts the question mark. What is yoga? So far, what we have understood yoga. What is the understanding of yoga? This word is very popular. Again, it is very much misapplied, misquoted, misunderstood. What does yoga mean? Anyone?
So to concentrate our senses mostly on a specific object.
Acha. But have you performed that yoga in your life?
Means I am trying to.
That is called meditation. That is not called yoga. Isn't it?
Yes.
Huh? So we're talking about yoga. So meditation is where you are trying to focus. Okay. But what is yoga? You see so many yoga institutes and yoga societies everywhere. What is yoga? What is the understanding of yoga? General, normal, common.
Physical and mental discipline.
Okay, very good. Physical and mental discipline. Okay. Have you tried that in your life so far? Yes or no? Hare Krishna. Say yes if you have done. If no, then never mind. We can always make a beginning. Isn't it? Anything else? What else is the understanding of yoga?
Exercise.
Exercise. Very good. To have to be physically fit. Why don't you shift ahead? Yoga normally means, all the yoga society means that our body should become more fit and more flexible. Isn't it? That is the general understanding and general application of yoga. Yeah. But here Prabhupada says, yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever-disturbing senses. So as you said, discipline is required. But discipline is required to concentrate the mind on the Supreme. So it is twofold. There is a positive aspect where one has to focus, and there is a negative aspect which one has to control. And who is the Supreme? The Supreme is the Lord, and because he is himself telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the result of the fight. Like an example is given of someone who is in the bank. You all have gone to the bank? Anyone who has never been to the bank? All of you have been to the bank? Mostly in IERI, you get scholarships. So you must visit the bank. Or it comes online now. You don't have to visit. Huh? Now with the digital world, maybe that you stop visiting the bank. But even in the bank, what you see there is a post of cashier. It's a good example. Irrespective of how many customer comes and how many money comes, what is the impact on the cashier? If he counts few crores, can he think that this cash belongs to him? Is there any, happiness experienced by him that today I got so much more money? And the other day, no one comes to deposit cash. Does he lament? He's completely aloof. This is one example of samatva. In real sense, we see he's always complaining. If it is more, he's complaining. He will go and tell the manager that there is too much of work. You assign one more person. And when there is no work, then he's happy. But the principle which is being spoken about is that one becomes detached. So here, Krishna is telling Arjuna that he has nothing to do with the result of the fight. Gain or victory are Krishna's concern. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. Now please understand, there's a very deeper definition of yoga which is given here. The following of Krishna's dictation is real yoga. What it means to concentrate the mind on the Supreme is not to fill void. Where is the Supreme? The Supreme is there in his abode. And where am I? I am sitting here. And what am I doing? I am just focusing my mind on Krishna. No, that is not yoga. What is yoga here? Following of Krishna's dictation is real yoga. That means abiding and applying Krishna's instructions in our life is yoga. Simple. So that is what is the topmost yoga. And this is practiced by the process called Krishna consciousness. So this is the principal practice of everyone in Krishna consciousness. What is the practice? That we are trying to follow what Krishna is speaking. By Krishna consciousness only can one give up the sense of proprietorship. Not otherwise. What it means to be Krishna conscious? First one has to become Krishna conscious. Then only he can be situated in yoga. Otherwise he is situated in bhoga. Bhoga, you understand? Tendency to enjoy. But can he enjoy? So he will become a roga. Those who are trying to enjoy, they will suffer. So what one has to do? One has to become Krishna conscious. That means he has to work under the guidance of someone who is Krishna conscious. Very simple. How you become a doctor? How you become a doctor? By reading the books? You have to be an intern. What is it called? Intern. How many years? Many years. You are under the guidance of an expert doctor. And with his knowledge and skill, he trains you and he educates you. Then only you are allowed to perform an operation on the patient. Similarly, in every field. So here Prabhupada is saying, by Krishna consciousness, only one can give up the sense of proprietorship. One has to become the servant of Krishna or the servant of the servants of Krishna. Those misunderstand the term. Servant means one who is following. And very important why the word servant is being used, because the principle of karmanya vadhikaraste is there. Because the person who is Krishna conscious, he is not in any stage thinking that he has the right to enjoy. But in all other stages, in the conditioned stage, everybody is thinking that he has the right to enjoy. Once our founder Acharya, he went to Japan. We were getting our books printed from Japan, from one of the big companies called Dai Nippon. So there were many executives and the president was also meeting. So Prabhupada asked one of the printing manager that what is the goal of your life? So there were many cards, the visiting cards mentioned. The president was there, then below him the vice president was there, then other line members were there. So because Prabhupada was there and there was this person who was the middle level manager was there. So what this Japanese middle level manager did, he took his card out and placed his card on the top and said, this is the goal of my life. So what it means that he is not performing his duty being equipoised. What is the thinking? That when can I replace the top person? And when can I have his position? Isn't it? That is the goal in everyone's life. Those who are materially inclined. Yeah. The higher the position, the more there is opportunity to be happy or enjoyment. But here the term which is being used is of servant. Servant means that he is not thinking of his interest, his right. He is thinking of master's interest and master's right. So yoga means one is always thinking about Krishna's interest, Krishna's happiness. So that is what is Krishna consciousness. So that is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness. That one is not thinking about one's own welfare. Everyone is thinking about the self. This is the I age. We have iPhones, we have iPads, iWatch. Center is I, me. But here the center has to be the Supreme. So here, that is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna, which alone can help one to act in yoga. So Krishna is educating Arjuna and enlivening Arjuna, and through Arjuna he is helping all of us. So Prabhupada says, which alone can help one to act in yoga. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and as such, he is participating in the Varnashram Dharma institution. It is said in the Vishnu Puran that in the Varnashram Dharma, the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. No one should satisfy himself. Himself means everybody is thinking to satisfy his body, as is the rule in the material world. But one should satisfy Krishna. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principles of Varnashram Dharma. Indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act as Krishna told him. So Krishna is giving this principle that become detached. Become detached for both success and a failure. If you see, if we are not attached to the result, how we will perform the action? Very efficiently, isn't it? Because there will neither be fear, there will be no fear of failure, nor we know that we can enjoy the fruit. So we have to give the best. Yeah. And Krishna says, if you do not do that, if you are not situated in yoga, then what is the situation? That is the next verse. Very important verse. He says, Dhureni avaram karma Buddhi-Yoga dhananjaya Buddhau sharanam anviksha kripana phalahetava. He says, Dhureni avaram karma. That he's already spoken about this karma which covers or binds the living entity in this material world. He says, keep that abominable action far distance. How? By Buddhi-Yoga. So we have discussed Buddhi-Yoga. In the last class we discussed Buddhi-Yoga. Who remembers what is Buddhi-Yoga? Those who attended the class. What does Buddhi-Yoga mean? Acting as per superior's intelligence. That means acting as per guidance. If one is not acting as per guidance, then what is he acting as for? He is acting for the results, to gain some benefit. So he says, keep all abominable activities far distance by devotional service. And in that consciousness, surrender unto the Lord. And then he warns, he tells Arjuna, but if you do not do that, and those who do not do that, those who want to enjoy the fruits of their works are misers. He says, kripana phalahetu. So those who are not becoming detached, or those who are not becoming equipoised, so what will be the result? That they will remain misers. And what does miser mean? We will understand what miser means. There are two aspects. One is a liberal, not the political party liberals and Democrats. Rishi Shonak represents which one? Liberals? Not Democrats. Okay. The Prabhupada explains that one who has factually come to understand one's constitutional position as an eternal servitor of the Lord. That means one who is situated in yoga. What is yoga? Prabhupada has explained. You see, by Krishna consciousness only can give up the sense of proprietorship. One has to become servant of servant, or the servant of Krishna. That is the right way to discharge duty. So he is situated in yoga. So one who has actually come to understand one's constitutional position is an eternal servitor of the Lord, gives up all engagements, save working in Krishna consciousness. That means no work should be performed which is outside yoga. Because any work which is outside the scope of yoga, what it will bring? It will bring reactions. So what is the rightful action? That does not bring reaction. And what is an abominable action? Here the word avaram karma Prabhupada is translating as abominable action. Every action which brings reaction, or which binds the living entity in this material world, is abominable. As already explained, Buddhi-Yoga means transcendental loving service to the Lord. Such devotional service is the right course of action for the living entity. Only misers desire to enjoy the fruit of their work, just to be further entangled in material bondage. Except for work in Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable. Why? Because they continually bind the worker to the cycle of birth and death. He can never realize his true identity. He can never come to the platform of knowing who he is. See, what a reaction and what a punishment. And we are all having this punishment right now. Do we know who we are? We don't know. We are thinking we are this body, we are the post, we are belonging to some family. But everything is subject to change. It is changing constantly. And who we are, we have no cognizance. So what is it? This is a punishment. Why? Because we have not performed yoga. And what we have performed abominable actions. So Prabhupada is saying, except for work in Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable because they continually bind the worker in the cycle of birth and death. When we hear this statement of cycle and birth and death, so our mind says, what is so scary about birth and death? It is a part of life. Everybody takes birth and dies. So what is so to be scared about? Why? You are scaring me. Whoever takes birth, he dies. So that is natural phenomena. What is so scary about? So I'll share with you from the Shastras. You see the living entity when it is within the womb of the mother, what is his situation? There is a big discourse, but I will take only one verse. There is a full chapter dedicated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Those who are interested, they can read, they can study. This is movement of the living entities. Lord Kapila's instructions on the movement of the living entities, 3rd canto, 31st chapter. The full chapter is there. But I will only take one verse to explain what it means to remain in the cycle of birth and death, and where is the suffering. This is the 17th verse. It says, Dehi anya dehe vivare Jadharagni arasakavet mutrakupa patito brisha tapta deha ikchanito vivashvitum ganayam swamasam nirvasyate kripanadhira bhagavan kadavanu. So fallen in the pool of blood, stool and urine. Just try to imagine the situation when the living entity is within the womb of the mother. What is the period of time? At least 9 months. So what is the situation? Why birth is considered to be such a state of suffering? So where he has to be, he is ensconced within the womb of the mother, and he is not in a comfortable situation. He is upside down. The legs are up and the forehead is down. And he is fallen in the pool of blood, stool and urine with the abdomen of the mother. So he is in the same area. Within the abdomen, all these things are there. There is pool of blood, there is stool, there is also urine within the abdomen of the mother. And his own body is scorched by the mother's gastric fire. So of course, in the abdomen there is fire. And in the fire there is all these gases also. The embodied soul, anxious to get out, counts his months and prays, "Oh my Lord, when shall I, the wretched soul, be released from this confinement?" So the precarious condition of living entity within the womb of mother is described here. On one side, where the child is floating, is the heat of gastric fire. Just imagine. In this room, instead of having these instruments, we have so many, obnoxious gases coming. Will you sit and hear the class? No, we will leave. And the child, can he leave? Can he move? He is forced. And on the other side are urine, stool, blood and discharges. After 7 months, the child who has regained his consciousness feels the horrible condition of his existence and prays to the Lord, counting the months until his release. He becomes greatly anxious to get out of the confinement. The so-called civilized man does not take account of this horrible condition of life. And sometimes for the purpose of self-gratification, he tries to kill the child by methods of contraceptives or abortion. That is also happening now. Unserious about the horrible condition in the womb, such persons continue in materialism, grossly misusing the chance of human form of life. So the word which is being used here is kripana. The word kripana is significant in this verse. Why it is being said kripana? Because kripana means miser. Conditioned life is for person who are of miserly intelligence. Why miserly intelligence? Because they do not properly utilize their intelligence. In the human form of life, the intelligence is developed, and one has to utilize that developed intelligence to get out of the cycle of birth and death. This is the purpose of human life. Are you attempting? We are not even accepting. Do we accept? No. One who does not do so is a miser. Simple. Like why you have been given this opportunity to be in IARA, to remain here in IARA. Why you have been given the opportunity to be in IARA? To have your degree and move on, isn't it? Not to remain here. So human form of life is granted so that one can be released from the repeated cycle of suffering. A person who does not actually utilize his human intelligence to get out of the clutches of Maya, the cycle of birth and death, is accepted as miserly. The exact opposite of miserly is udara, or very magnanimous. A Brahmana is called udar if he is a Brahmana, not just by birth, or just not by wearing a thread. He does not become a Brahmana. A Brahmana is called udar because he utilizes his human intelligence for spiritual realization. He uses that intelligence to preach Krishna consciousness for the benefit of the public, and therefore he is magnanimous. So the whole details, even the doctors have no clue. When the doctors say, here every month what is the situation of the child in the womb is very much detailed described. How he comes into conception, how he grows, and what is his stage. So that science is still not known to human race, but it is there in the scriptures. It is all there. So here Krishna is saying that except for work in Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable because they continually bind the worker in the cycle of birth and death. One should therefore never desire to be the cause of work. Krishna is explaining that verse, you see. Which verse? Mahavakya, Karmanye Vadhikarasya. So one should never desire to be the cause of their work. Everything should be done in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of Krishna. But it requires training. It requires guidance. Misers do not know how to utilize the assets of riches, which they acquire by good fortune or by hard labor. One should spend all energies working in Krishna consciousness, and that will make one's life successful. Like misers, unfortunate peoples do not employ their human energy in the service of the Lord. So one who has not come to this level of equanimity, one who has not graduated to come to the platform of yoga, then his human life is useless, gonna waste. Why? Because he'll be pushed again in the repeated cycle of birth and death, and he will suffer. Not necessarily that he will get the human form of life. Karmana deva nitrena jantu dehe upapatte. So it is according to one's action. Karmana. According to the action that we have performed in this life, similarly we will be eligible to get the next form of life. So how to work? So Krishna is giving the conclusion here. In the next two verses, he says that Buddhi-Yukta. First he was saying Bhuddhi-Yoga, but now he's saying Buddhi-Yukta. Buddhi-Yukta jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite tasmad yoga yayujasva yoga karmashu kaushalam. Very beautiful. He says yoga karmashu kaushalam. Yoga means kaushal. the action which is leading us to perfection. That is the art of action. How one has to work, Krishna is explaining here. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. So Krishna is re-emphasizing that one should be situated in yoga, and in that yoga only he should strive for work. Since time immemorial, each living entity has accumulated the various reactions of his good and bad work. As such, he is continuously ignorant of his real constitutional position. That is why we have no knowledge of Atma. Do we have knowledge of Atma? We may have information, but do we have the experience and the realization? No. Why? Because for many, many lifetimes, what action we are performing? Avaram karma, abominable action. Action which is binding and grinding us in the cycle of birth and death. So if we are really intelligent, then we should awaken. Why one is not awakened? Because of ignorance. So that ignorance, Rupa says, as such, he is continuously ignorant of his real constitutional position. Once ignorance can be removed by the instructions of Bhagavad-Gita, which teaches one to surrender unto the Lord in all respects and become liberated from the chain victimization of action and reaction. That is why Krishna spoke in the last verse. He says, Buddho Sharanam Anaviksha. He is not directly saying that you come and take my shelter, Arjuna. That he will say in the 18th chapter. But he is giving a hint. He is saying that Sharanam is in full surrender. Here again he is saying that, Prabhupada is mentioning here, that one has to surrender unto Lord Sri Krishna in all respect. What does it mean to surrender? Simple, to perform not on the platform of desire, but to begin on the platform of duty. So as we perform duty, then we can come to the platform of love. In love, there are no consideration. That means in love there is self is less, and one is inclined to work or serve for the satisfaction of the beloved. Right or wrong? Don't compare it with the normal kind of exchange. That is no love. It is all lust. So lust cannot be compared to love. Lust and love are completely opposed. It is like iron and gold. So when there is love, then there is no selfish consideration. So Krishna is saying that you should come to that platform. Yoga means that you perform action which does not bind you in any reaction, which liberates you, which frees you. Okay, so far is the conception becoming clear? Is the principle becoming clear? If not, then you can ask question before I proceed. There can be more better understanding if there is discussion. Otherwise, this principle will remain in the book. It will not enter into our head. Are you understanding what yoga means? Okay. Can you share? What is the understanding so far? What is yoga? Try, yeah.
So we have to perform our duty in divine consciousness, being equipoised.
Okay. What is divine consciousness?
In Krishna consciousness. Like whenever we are doing something, we have to, like, we don't have to think that we are the cause. Like we have a
No, but how our action can be in divine consciousness, or how it can be in Krishna consciousness?
So that is actually my doubt also I was about to ask it. Here it is mentioned now that we have to surrender in all respects.
Yeah.
So how we have to implement this in our daily life?
Very good, very good question. That is what is really inquiry. Otherwise, that means we are not thinking. Yeah. So how in all respects means that in our daily actions. So that what it means, that we should not perform action on our own, discrimination. Action is to be performed according to instruction. Like you see, in all the purpose Prabhupada is saying, he started the definition of yoga by saying that one has to perform action according to the instructions. So that means the person who is representing Krishna, if we are acting according to his directions or his guidance, then we are performing action which is in Krishna consciousness. Very clear, very simple. So that means any action which is guided, which is instructed to us, that action which is performed, that is liberating. That will not allow the soul to come into the bondage. Why? Because the result of the action is to be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord. We are not enjoying. Like you are studying. Yeah. So if guidance is given to you that you should study, the focus should be in study. The focus should not be in any else, in other areas, which deviates you or distracts you or degrades you. So to the extent you are doing that, you are performing Buddhi-Yoga. Yeah. So, but for that you need to have someone who is Krishna conscious and who guides. And if to the extent you abide, you are in Buddhi-Yoga principle.
Sir, two more examples, sir.
Two more examples.
For the second, sir.
Sorry?
Two more examples for what to do and what not to do.
Simple. What is being told to do?
Like what, sir?
Very simple. You have to inquire. If you are, you have to approach a person who is Krishna conscious. First thing is you have to approach. You have to inquire from him. And then depending upon your psychophysical nature, it is not for everyone the same. According to his psychophysical nature, he will be guided. Everyone's psychophysical nature is different. So guidance is given according to psychophysical nature so that he can progress. He can proceed. Most emphasis is given is not to try to enjoy the fruit. Not to try to become the enjoyer. That is the false position. What does the guru or guide give? It removes the illusion and brings the person into the reality. So what are the areas of illusion that will be eliminated? And what practices which bring us to the real position, the constitutional position, that will be introduced. Isn't it? This is what Prabhupada is saying. That he is continuously ignorant of his real constitutional position. So all those actions or all those areas which keep you in this continuously ignorant situation, that will have to be removed. And all those actions or areas which will introduce you to come to the constitutional position will have to be introduced. So what ignorance has to be removed and knowledge is to be illuminated. Then one's action can bring the Yoga Karmashu portion. Okay. Anything else? Yeah.
So, it's the meaning of Varnashram Dharma.
Yeah. Varnashram Dharma means Varna and Ashrama. So society is divided according to Varna. So there are 4 Varnas. Varnas means classification based on one's skill. So Brahmana. Who is a Brahmana? Brahmana means one who has the spiritual knowledge. One who has realized the spiritual knowledge. It is not that he is born in a family, he has the knowledge, no. He must have realized. And he must have applied. How he can realize? When he has applied. That means he is also detached. It is not that the Brahmana comes, he performs. Like I have come to give some knowledge. And after the class I said, how much you are going to give me Dakshina? That is not Brahmana. That is not Brahmana. But those you see now, they are not Brahmana. They are just in the garb of a Brahmana. Brahmana means he is completely detached. So Brahmana is there because of his intelligence, of his sharp intelligence, of his realization. That is the highest class. Like the head. Head is there, no? That is the most important because it guides the entire body. Then the Kshatriyas are considered to be the arms. The body, it is like a body. So arms, what it has? It has the ability to perform all action. So Kshatriya means those who are very chivalrous. And then there is Vaishya. Vaishya means the mercantile class. It is compared to the belly. So what the belly does? We feed the belly and the belly gives energy to the entire body. Isn't it? So that is the class which does all business. And cow protection. Krishna gives the explanation in the 18th chapter. And the Shudra is considered to be the legs. That is the labor class. So can we say that there is discrimination? Is there discrimination? But this understanding is not. So unless and until the entire body functions, can one be happy? So the society needs all the four classes. Based on their social and intelligence order, this classification is made. So this is the Varna. Okay. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and the Shudra. To make it more simple, the intelligent class. Then there is the administrative class. Administrative class. Then there is the mercantile class. And then there is the labor class. Okay. It is not that the Brahmana is the capitalist and the Shudra is to be exploited. No. And what are the four ashrams? Four ashrams are Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanprastha, and Sannyas. So Krishna created the society with the four varnas and with the four ashramas, so that there can be complete peace, harmony, and cooperation. But in today's world, the so-called politicians, they have removed all the classification of the class. So there is now no class. So what we have only one class. Every class is below Shudra class. Okay, we don't have even Shudra. Because Shudra also means that he follows the codes which are given in the Shastras. Nobody is following any Shastra. Nobody is having any Guru. They are on their own. What kind of life they are living? Like the subhuman life. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. No restrictions, no restraint. Right or wrong? This is the Azadi. Azad to be like an animal. Free to live like an animal. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your alertness. Anyone else? Please inquire. If you inquire, then the understanding will come. If you don't inquire, it will not come. Okay. So I'll move ahead. Then he says that those who have come to this platform of yoga, those who are performing Buddhi-Yoga, Karmajam Buddhi-Yukta Phalam Taktva Manishina Janma Bandha Vinurmukta Padam Gachanti Anamayam. So he says Karma Jam. Karma means action and Jam means to take birth. What is the result of performing action? Birth. What is the fruit of performing action? Either sinful or pious. What is the fruit of every action? Is next birth. It says karmaja. So one who is freed, how one can be freed? When he is situated in Buddhi-Yoga. Buddhi-Yoga. And how he is freed? Because he is phalam tattva. He is detached. Or he is uninterested from the fruits or the results of his actions. Phalam tattva, manishina. Ish means one who is the controller, or one who has won, captured, or conquered. And manishina means who has captured the mind. Where is the maximum attachment? In the mind. Who can be free from attachment? One who has controlled his mind. One who is not controlled by mind. In our life, do we control the mind or are we controlled by mind? What is your thought? Do you control the mind? I'm asking you. We are a slave. We are a puppet of our mind. Whatever mind desires and demand, we have to follow. Sheepishly, helplessly. So such a person who is Manishina and who is Phalam Tattva and who is Buddhi-Yukta. What is the result? Janma Bandhar Vinurmukta. He is liberated. He is freed from the cycle of birth and death. And not only is he freed from the cycle of birth and death, that means in his life there is no misery. He is free from any kind of suffering. Two aspects are there. See, till the time we exist in this material world, there will be miseries, isn't it? When there is scorching heat, there is misery. It is for everyone. But suffering is not there for everyone uniform. Is it for everyone? Some feels excessive heat, others may not feel the heat. Similarly is the cause of cold. Some are wearing cap, some are wearing jacket, some may not be even wearing any woolen cloth. Isn't it? The level of tolerance and impact of the misery is different. So miseries will remain, but one who is at the platform of Buddhi-Yoga, he will not suffer. Why? Because where is suffering experienced? Where is the suffering experienced? In the mind. In the mind. And he has learned to train his mind. He is not dictated by the mind, but he controls his mind. So such a person is Janma Bandhur Vinur, very beautiful verse. Janma Bandhur Vinur Mukta, and not only he is Mukta, he elevates. Padam Gachanti Anamayam. He, see the translation, thus by engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the result of work in the material world. So this is the prerequisite. This is the qualifying state. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries. So everyone wants to come to this stage, but they do not know how to come. And Krishna is giving the process. The liberated living entities belong to that place where there are no material miseries. And in Bhagavatam, it is said that in this world, can there be a situation when there are no miseries? No. What is the situation? Very beautiful verse. Samasitaye pad pallava plavam mahat padam punyo yasho murare bhavam buddhir vats padam param padam 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 yad vipadam natesham. So in this world, padam padam yad vipadam. That in every step there is great danger, isn't it? Anything can happen anytime. Can anyone predict? No. So there's material world. This is the realization of Lord Brahma. This is from Brahmaji's prayers. 10th canto, 14th chapter is Lord Brahma's prayer. So he is saying that in this world which is filled with dangers at every step, padam padam yad vipadam. So but those who have taken shelter of your lotus feet, samashrita ye pad pallava plavam. Those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord. So, plavam is said to be the boat. So, one who has accepted the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation, is famous as Mukunda. Mukunda means one who gives liberation, who liberates. Yeah. Bandha means one who is captive. And Mukunda means one who liberates from the captivity. So Mahat Padam, Punyo Yasho Murare. So for such a person, the ocean of this material world is like the water contained in the calf's hoof print. So this material world is full of miseries, and how big is this miserable ocean? Is unlimited. At every step there is danger. So but who has taken the shelter of the Supreme Lord, For him, this ocean, it contracts. And it contracts to the extent that it becomes like something which is contained in your palm. If you have water in your palm, how difficult it is to cross over it?
Just one step.
Not even one step. Practically, you don't have to take this step. What damage can it do? Nothing. Yeah. So this is the art. We should be knowing where we have to take shelter. So Parampadam, or the place where there are no material miseries, or Vaikuntha, is the goal. Not the place where there is danger in every step. But why one is not attempting? One is not accepting? Owing to ignorance. Owing to ignorance. One does not know that this material world is a miserable place where there are dangers at every step. We know. We have experience. Don't we have experience of dangers? We experienced COVID. The human race never experienced such precarious situation. But still, have we learned? Have we changed an inch from COVID? We remain the same. Very dangerous. Why? Because unless until the consciousness elevates, nothing will change. That is why we were discussing yesterday, the modes. In mode of ignorance and in mode of passion. Very dangerous. Because we will be doing only those things which will become the cause of our suffering. So out of ignorance, only less intelligent person tries to adjust the situation by fruitive activities, thinking that the resultant actions will make them happy. So everyone in this world is making this adjustment only. Everyone is trying to adjust. Little bit of more luck, little bit of more favor, little bit of cooperation. Hum honge kamyab ek din. What kamyab? Can one win over death and birth? So this knowledge is not there anywhere else. So Krishna is enlightening Arjuna. And through Arjuna, he is enlightening all of us. What are the miseries of life? They do not know that no kind of material body anywhere within the universe can give life without miseries. The miseries of life, namely birth, death, old age, and disease, are present everywhere within the material world. But one who understands his real constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Lord, and thus knows the position of the personality of Godhead, and engages himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. So this is Bhuddhi-Yoga. Bhuddhi-Yoga means to become selfless. You have to become selfless. Consequently, one becomes qualified to enter into the Vaikuntha planet where there is neither material miserable life nor the influence of time and death. To know one's constitutional position means to also know the sublime position of the Lord. One who wrongly thinks that the living entity's position and the Lord's position are on the same level is to be understood to be in darkness and therefore unable to engage himself in devotional service of the Lord. Is one of the reasons. And why people do not engage in devotional service, Prabhupada is giving here. Because he has not accepted the superior position of the Lord. He is not accepting a subordinate position. He is stubborn. He says, why the Supreme Lord has to be served? Why he is superior? Why I cannot take that position? Why the others cannot serve me? Or why the Lord cannot serve me? He becomes a Lord himself. Clear? He becomes a Lord himself and paves the way for the repetition of birth and death. But one who, understanding that his position is to serve, transfer himself to the service of the Lord, at once becomes eligible for Vaikuntha Loka. Service for the cause of the Lord is called Karma Yoga. So, not every action is yoga. So, that action which is performed where there is no selfish interest. What does it mean, selfish interest? But there is no desire to enjoy the result. But it is to be offered to the Supreme Lord is called Karma Yoga or Bhuddhi-Yoga, or in plain words, devotional service to the Lord. I'll take 2 more verses and complete this section. So from next time we will come with the next section of Arjuna's questions. So how this can happen? How one can come to the principle of being Manishina, Palam Tektva, and Janma Bandhar Vinurmukta. How much time will it take? So that is being explained here. The next verse. Yada te moho kalilam buddhirvyati tirashyati tadagantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shutasya cha. Moha kalilam. Moha means illusion and kalilam means which is dense. So our intelligence is lost, both in the dense forest of material enjoyment and it is in illusion. So he says, Krishna says that yada te moho kalilam buddhir vyati tarishyati. When your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion. What is the dense forest of delusion? That I am the proprietor, I am the performer, and I am the enjoyer. So once all this illusion or misconception has been removed, and tada gantasi nirvedam, and you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard. Shrotavasya shutasya. He's talking about nirvedam. In Veda, there are many processes given for fruitive actions, karma kand. So when one has become indifferent to all those proposals or all those rituals, most importantly is rituals, rituals. So tata gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shutasya cha. When you have become indifferent or uninterested. Remember the karmane vadikaraste, D-O-D-D? What is that? Well, Manish, you can contribute. Well, if that is not understood or that is not practiced, then this situation will not come. Disinterested, obligatory duties diligently. Disinterested, obligatory duties diligently. So when the intelligence is passed out of the dense forest, so in this material existence, everyone's intelligence is influenced by lust. And that lust is compared to the dense forest of delusion. Because everyone is thinking that through this body, he will be able to enjoy this world. And he is attempting. All actions are in that direction only. So when one's intelligence is freed or it is being purified from all this lusty proposal, all the elusive proposals. So Prabhupada says that there are many good examples in the lives of great devotees of the Lord who became indifferent to various rituals and Vedas simply by devotional service of the Lord. So there is another big trap of performing ritualistic actions. It's called karma kand. When a person actually understands Krishna and his relationship with Krishna, he naturally becomes completely indifferent to the rituals of fruitive activities. Even though an experienced Brahmana. So most of the Brahmanas that you meet, or you think they are Brahmanas, they are very much saddled in this kind of ritualistic performances. They cannot be freed. So Prabhupada quotes Sripad Madhavendra Puri. And Madhavendra Puri is saying that I am not interested in the ritualistic action. So ritual and spiritual are completely different. So what we have been performing so far, mostly in the Indian context, what you see, we don't see spiritual. We see only rituals. It has been happening from our forefathers and we just continue. And what is the consciousness or what is the expectation of performing the ritual? Yes. Sukha sampati ghare aave, kashta mite tanaka. Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. Otherwise, why we should even bother about Hari? Okay. So I'll go a little forward. So you see in the next purport, Prabhupada is saying in the next para, but when one is fully in Krishna consciousness and is engaged in his transcendental loving service. So when one is Krishna conscious and is engaged in transcendental loving service, one becomes indifferent to all these regulative principles because he has already attained perfection. This is not the regulative principle of devotional service. This is the regulative principle of karma kanda. One can reach the platform of understanding by service to the Supreme Lord Krishna. He has no longer to execute different types of penitence and sacrifice as recommended in the revealed scriptures. And similarly, if one is not understood that the purpose of the Vedas is to reach Krishna and simply engages in rituals, he is uselessly wasting time in such engagements. Person in Krishna consciousness transcend the limit of Shabda Brahma or the range of Vedas and the Upanishad. This is the last verse I'll take. Shruti vipratipanna te yada sthasyati nischala samadhava chala buddhis tada yogam avapyasi. So Krishna is asking Arjuna, when your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, because in Vedas there are many recommendations for profuse enjoyment. That is why people are ritualistic. Why do they do demigod worship? Because they can get the opportunity to enjoy more. So when your mind is no longer, that means his mind has become purified. He is not distracted or he is not in delusion. He is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization. Then you have attained the divine consciousness. This is the situation. You were asking them. Then the action will be in divine consciousness. Then the action will become divine. First one has to become divine. His consciousness has to become divine. Then the actions will become divine. So Prabhupada says in the second sentence, the highest perfection of self-realization is to understand that one is eternally the servitor of the Krishna and that one's only business is to recharge one's duty in Krishna consciousness. A Krishna conscious person or unflinching devotee of the Lord should not be disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, nor be engaged in fruitive activities and promotion to the heavenly kingdom. In Krishna consciousness, one comes directly into communion with Krishna. This is called yoga. And thus all directions from Krishna may be understood in that transcendental state. One is sure to achieve the results by such activities and attain conclusive knowledge. One has to carry out the orders of Krishna or his representatives. This is all Bhuddhi-Yoga. This is in one sentence, Prabhupada has encapsulated the entire discussion so far. That one has to carry out the orders of Krishna or his representative, the spiritual master. Okay. Now Arjuna has understood it, what Krishna has spoken, and Arjuna will inquire. Arjuna will inquire about such a person, or how to realize such a person who is in divine consciousness, who is situated in Bhuddhi-Yoga, one who is Manishina, one who is Janma Bandhur Vinurmukta. So that we will take next time. Okay. So Krishna is giving the process of performing the perfect action. He is giving us the art of performing action which does not bring reaction. Okay. Any question from those who are online? No, from your side also. If there is any question, any doubt, you can ask. Krishna is giving the Yoga Karmashu Kaushalam. The kaushal of the intelligence is to perform yoga. Then one's intelligence is really sharp or refined.
प्रभु जी अभी इसमें आया था कि वेदास के अंदर बाकी सारे रिचुअल्स किए हैं जो भी
96%.
Okay.
How much? 96%. That is why if you study on your own, you will be caught. Very simple.
मुझे मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि जब कृष्ण हम सबको उनके पास बुलाना चाहते हैं तो फिर वो 96% कंफ्यूज करने के लिए दिया है।
उन्होंने कंफ्यूज करने के लिए, हम तो भगवत गीता दे रहे हैं, हम तो और कुछ पढ़ ही नहीं रहे।
प्रभु जी लेक्चर में मैंने ऐसा सुना था कि
नहीं, आप लेक्चर में सुना नहीं, आपका जो क्वेश्चन है उसका कन्विक्शन क्लियर होना चाहिए। हम तो खाली भगवत गीता पढ़ रहे हैं, तो वो तो बता रहे हैं हमें कैसे छूटना है, कैसे लिबरेट होना है। तो कहाँ जकड़े जाना है, उसके रास्ते में क्यों जाना है? इसका मतलब क्या है? बुद्धि क्या है? भ्रमित है, इम्प्योर है। इसलिए बोला ना, यदा ते मोह कलिलम बुद्धिर्व्यति तरष्यति। When your intelligence has been freed from illusion, from the dense forest of delusion. So that is why very important. When we come in association, we hear. And after many, attempts of hearing, then there will be some desire coming in our heart. But let me apply. And when we apply, will it be easy? It will not be easy. So we need help. Arjuna is asking help, no? Arjuna is saying that I do not know. Yat shreya shat nishitam bruhitanime. Shishyaste ham shadi mam tam prapanna. So the new beginning, new awakening will happen when we are willing to accept authority. The mind, because our authority is our mind, our master is our mind, and we are happy following it. And where will it lead? To transmigration, Dehantra. Krishna is giving Bhagavad-Gita also, no? Why not accept Bhagavad-Gita? It is like saying, government has made jail. Why? So that there will be criminals. So I have become criminal. So government is responsible for me being criminal. Government has given IRI also. You are utilizing IRI facility or not? The criminal is saying, why government is making this prison house? So that people can become criminals. It is our choice, isn't it? All of us, all individuals have the right to select. Yes, Prabhu.
How to begin to get it has been got.
Just perform as per instruction. If whatever is told, you go and perform, and you enjoy the result. You have to offer it. The result will be enjoyed by one who is assigning the duty. No? And you cannot enjoy. Like the banker, who is the cashier, can he enjoy? He cannot enjoy. In the evening, whatever has come, he has to deposit in the chest. Otherwise, he will be in jail. Why we are trying to enjoy? Because we are not performing authorized action. We are performing independent action. And what is the intent of performing independent action? Is to just enjoy. Then we are caught. If we are performing that, very simple. Prabhupada is saying that. So many verses he is saying. So it requires purification. As we perform, at least one action should be, which is not for my own sense gratification or enjoyment. And that one becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, it becomes 10. Then the independent or whimsical action, or that is called the capricious action. 3 things Krishna said. What are the 3 actions? Karma, akarma, and vikarma. First, what we should release from our life? Vikarma. Vikarma should be out. Not performing sinful action. Then what should be minimized? Karma. Karma. And if you are performing a karma, then there is no reaction. One is liberated.
So it means good and bad actions both are
Binding. Both are binding because it will.
So we have to be like only doing the actions which goes into divine power.
Yes. If you want to be divine. if you want to be divine.
Liberated, we should
Yes.
be liberated with our kind of actions. Even it is good, even it is bad.
No, we are not liberated with action. We have to be liberated with the attachment to the action. This is the wrong thinking. No? This is what Arjuna was thinking. If I cannot enjoy, why should I act? What we have to give up? We have to give up the attachment to performing the action.
Even if we are doing good,
No, that is what I am explaining. Please hear. Good or bad, any action which is within this material world, it will give us the opportunity to get another body, so that we can enjoy or suffer according to the action we have performed.
yes, yes.
Right?
But-
Yeah.
So we should be in a divine direction.
So then, so
Liberated from all the emotions.
not emotion.
Even if it is good, even if it is bad.
No, it is not like that. We have to perform the action, but we have to give up the tendency to enjoy the result. No, it's not okay, it is not easy.
If our action which we are doing which do not involve any divine thinking,
Yeah.
even it is good. Like
Not thinking,
I'm
direction.
I'm like helping a dog, he is suffering.
Mm.
Is it kind of divine action?
No. How can you help the dog? What is the suffering of the dog? He is in that animal species. Can you liberate him from the animal species?
I think what's that?
You cannot do that. You are thinking, na? We are thinking. This is our imagination that I am helping. But do we know what is help? Do we know what is help? No. Then, so how we are helping?
That is why, sir. If
Yeah.
we'll do any good thing now, it will come
So
in
it
the
is-
next birth.
Yeah. See, if we do some good, it is according to the scriptures. Then we will have the pious respect.
Yes.
Yes. Sure.
The action should be like in a divine direction. only. There will
So
be
then
no
we have to
any-
know what is divine. Na? First, we have to know what is divine. Divine, Krishna is explaining here. We cannot decide now what is divine. On our own, what we like is divine, and what we dislike is demoniac. This kind of criteria will not work. Na?
Being a karma means-
How will you decide what is
being a
divine?
karma means it's very difficult to be being a karma.
No, akarma does not mean inaction. Akarma means performing action as per instructions of Krishna or his representatives. Simple.
And it is not so.
It is not.
So easy. to
It is
be
not
a
easy
karma.
because we are thinking that if we are independent, we can enjoy. And if we are following someone, then we cannot enjoy. So why should I follow? Like your subject teacher is there, na? Your guide is there. You're doing PhD?
Yes.
In PhD, you have given a guide, na? To complete the PhD. If you don't follow the guide, you follow someone else, you follow your friend, or you follow someone who is outside. But will it help you to complete your PhD? Who is the authorized person? You follow that?
So even if I am doing PhD, it
Yeah.
is not kind of a good actions because it is not doing.
No, it will give you the reaction. The result will come.
Yes.
Yeah, the reaction will be there.
Yes.
Every action
How
which is
can it be a karma.
that is through the divine consciousness of what Krishna is guiding.
So everything we are doing has some reactions.
Yes, but if it is not under the spiritual guidance, if it is not under the spiritual guidance,
Yes.
that is what Krishna was telling Arjuna.
Yes.
That even if you kill, you will not feel the reaction because this is under my instruction. Who else? Krishna is saying, I will take away this sin. Na? Aham toam sarup apebhyo mokshasyami ma sucha. Can anyone else say this? Is Lord Vishnu saying anywhere? Is Lord Ram saying anywhere? Is anyone else saying anywhere? No one else. Only Krishna is declaring so boldly. But Krishna is giving the right direction also. He is educating Arjuna step by step. So spiritual life means a life of guidance.
Kind of thing.
Guidance means that what we should do and what we should not do. Simple.
Even if the good things leads to
What is the definition of good?
even like
What is the understanding of what
distributing-
criteria?
by like we are distributing blankets to the poor. So
Okay.
It is a,
It is a pious
but
action.
It is, but
It is a
it
pious
is not
action.
a kind of
It is not a liberating action. It
It's
is a
not a
pious
liberating
action. It is a pious action.
Yes.
It is a pious action because you have performed good work. So you will get the merit. you will get the opportunity to enjoy the result.
Yes.
But that will bind you, no?
It will lead to rebirth.
Huh? It will not allow you to be free from the cycle of birth and death.
Why do people doing this good kind of?
No, it is their liking, no? They want to enjoy. Why do people give charity? Don't you know? Why do most of the people give charity? Please sit. Give the chair to Dinesh ji. No. We have a chair, Prabhu. Use the chair. Better. Why do people give charity? Why? Most of the people who give charity, they want their name also, no? Have you seen in the Dharamshala, there is a fan. And on the fan, the name is also mentioned that who is donating. And one joke is there, not joke, a reality. And the person who gives the donation, he explained why you are running the fan. Because if you run the fan, then the name is not seen. They want to tell in the society that how big I am, how magnanimous I am. It is not for everyone. I understand the spirit in what you are saying. So we should know what is compassion. Try to help other means compassion. Isn't it? So who knows compassion? Yes. So that is what is there. There are two aspects. One has to become divine. That is Krishna conscious. Conscious means divinity. The consciousness should be of the higher level. He should not be selfish. He is not thinking about selfish interest. And divinity can only happen when one connects with the divine, with the Supreme Lord. When the Lord is not in the center, nothing is divine. Nothing is auspicious. Why? Because everything will bring a reaction. Will bind the worker with good or bad results. That is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. And through Arjuna is enlightening on. So every work has to be performed in God consciousness, in Krishna consciousness. Then that work becomes transcendental or divine. In absence of that, it remains at the platform of good or bad.
So how could one be in God consciousness doing any job?
Very good question. Very good question. Connect to one who is Krishna conscious. Simple. What Arjuna did, he inquired from Krishna that you tell me what I have to do.
So Arjuna killed people, okay, even though he liberated from his life.
Yeah.
Because he is Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, because Krishna wanted to establish dharma. And he wanted to remove the demoniac people. And Arjuna, wait. Yeah, why?
The killed people, they are...
Try to understand now whom were killed. Was Dhritarashtra and his sons not demoniac? Karna also was demoniac.
He is, but he was...
He might be your hero. He might be your hero, but you do not know now. Karna, when Draupadi was being robed, he was also party of it.
Yes, but he was conscious.
When Abhimanyu was being killed, where was his consciousness? His consciousness, his loyalty was not to the dharma. His loyalty was to the Duryodhana, who was wicked. This is what Mahabharata establishes. Even Bhishma Dev was killed. Why to talk about Karna? You see the character of Bhishma Dev. What is comparison of Karna with Bhishma Dev? He stands nowhere. He was standing virtuous all through his life, but he did a mistake. So if you are on the evil side, whoever you are, you will be punished. It is for everyone. There can be many arguments. Try to understand the principle. We are giving the principle. And we have a free choice whether to accept. But we can help you to accept. We can help you to understand. I have to complete the class because people are online also. I can have a discussion with you. I'll explain the principle. Did you get the answer? Now illusion of Karna is removed? Removed or not? Or still you are hanging with your argument? That means you don't want to get clear. Try and understand. Your question is finished or not? You compare Karna with Bhishma. Who is at the higher pedestal? Much higher. Did he perform any sin in his life?
Yeah. Bhishma performed. Yes.
Bhishma? What performed this sin?
Everything was going, he didn't say anything.
That is it. That is it.
Sir, he was a karma at that point.
Huh?
He was a karma.
No, he was not a karma. He had his loyalty not for dharma. Again, he also had the loyalty for whoever was, or the king. So this is the problem. Most of us, we have wrong loyalties and wrong conceptions. So Krishna is clearing all the misconceptions. So first hear Bhagavad-Gita. Okay, we will complete the class. We'll conclude the class today. Thank you very much, and we'll continue. So it is not over. Keep coming, keep hearing. Many misconceptions will be dismantled, and spiritual conceptions will emerge. Okay. Thank you for inquiring. Because one who is alive can only inquire. I'm talking about the consciousness. Most of us, not even thinking, nothing is registering. All glories to the assembled devotees. Srimad